Welcome and good evening. My name is Professor Tommaselli. I will introduce this great protagonist of the 1400, Nicholas of Cusa, Niccolo Cusano, and thank you very much for inviting us to this beautiful conference. It's a pleasure for me and Nicholas of Cusa, of course, also referred to as Nicholas Cusanus. Nicholas of Cusa was a German philosopher, theologian, jurist, and astronomer, one of the first German proponents of Renaissance humanism. He made a spiritual and political contribution in European history. A notable example of this is mystical or spiritual writings on learned ignorance. That's the point of tonight, as well as participation in power struggles between Rome and German states of the Holy Roman Empire. Papa Legate to Germany from 1446, he was appointed cardinal for his merits by Pope Niccolo V in 1448 and Prince Bishop of Brixen 2 years later. In 1459 he became Vicar General in the Papal States, but it's time to introduce tonight a great teacher, a great philosopher, a great genius of our conference. Please introduce the great Professor Michele Primavico, because tonight we are going to talk about this learned ignorance and who is the best man to tell us this point of concept of learned ignorance from Michele Primavico, that is really he studied a lot on this argument. Please, Professor Michele Primavico, welcome, first of all.
Well, first of all, thank you, Nash. The situation tonight is here in Montreal.
Professor, so we are in Dortmund, in Germany.
I'm sorry, but I had a jet lag. The two hostess, they had so beautiful leg that I will fall asleep and I wake up in München. I had to take another air.
Professor, jet lag is not jet legs.
Anyway, I'm very concerned about this concept. I will you explain, because I'm sorry about Nashing. I'm a little bit tired, but I can explain this concept.
Well, Professor, please.
Nicholas of Cusa, Latinized as Cusa, was the second of four children of Johann Krebs and Caterina Rummer. Si va stanza a fianco, the room next room. His father was a prosperous boat owner and Zacchi sword, and he entered the Faculty of Arts of Heidelberg University in 1416 as a cleric of the Diocese of Trier, studying by the liberal arts. Ogni tanto he burned them to book. He seemed to have left Heidelberg soon afterwards, as he received his doctorate in canon law from the University of Padua in 1423. You see, Italy was already famous. In Padua he met with the later Cardinals Giuliano Cesarini e Domenico Capranico, quello che faceva o speaker from London, and became friends with the mathematician Picciata Luce Paolo del Pozzo Toscanelli. Afterwards he entered the University of Cologne in 1425 as a doctor of canon law.
Professor is a doctor of canon law.
O professor of canon law, which is supposed to have both taught and practiced there in Cologne, made friends with the scholastic theologian Americo do Campo. Scrivono pure il pannocchio, si mangiavano, spiega lui.
Well, Professor, we didn't understand, but please, following a brief period
in Bologna, Nicholas returned to his hometown and became secretary to Otto of Zigazug, the Prince Archbishop of Trier. Otto appointed him canon and dean at the seat of St. Florence in Clovis, affiliated with the numerous prebends.
Professor, what means prebends?
I will explain later. Start it from Let me go in front of this argument. So, legend, I'm reading. Nash. In 1427 he was sent to Rome to Episcopal delegate. The next year he traveled to Paris to study the writings of Roman Ulul. At the same time he rejected the calling perché si sempre occupato, aveva pagato la SIM, aveva cambiato operatore telefonico e ancora ci dovevano dare, and they still waiting for the line. At the same time he rejected the calling, perché non era pagato a bullet, by newly established University of Leuven. He acquired great knowledge in the research of ancient and medieval manuscripts, as well in textual criticism and examination of primary sources. In 1433 he identified the donation of Constantine as a fake, confirmed by Lorenzo Valla that was a great protagonist of this 1400 period.
Well, Professor, very interesting.
Of course, I studied this last day, ma ci schiattavo un po' letto, ma ci ho letto tutto volume 13.
Bravo, Professor.
Thank you. Revealed the forgery of pseudo-Isidorian decretals.
Professor, what is pseudo-Isidorian decretals?
Stat sit for to spiegherò poi, I will explain later. He made friends with the Austrian astronomer George Feuerbach quando dice vicino a decine, ma tu sai con il caleidoscopio o con il pianoforte, perché un poco tu fai il George, un poco fai il pianoforte, non si capisce, I don't understand which profession you are. Ricetto pseudo-Isidorian decreto, stat sit, let me explain this concept.
Well, Professor, very interesting, and advocate a reform of Julian calendar and the Easter computus, which however was not released until the introduction of the Gregorian calendar in 1582, and which they could finally make a party for the birthday of Nicholas Augustus. Well, Professor, so it's a little bit complicated. Maybe it's because of the accent. Please, after the Archbishop Otto of Trier, he had died in 1430, Pope Martino V appointed the Speyer Bishop Rabban on Memstat his successor. But there are too many names, so Wikipedia too much. Nevertheless, the electorate was contested by opposing parties. And in 1432, Nicholas attended the Council of Basel, representing the colonies and with a profound rich. Then Ulrich von Manderstedt, one of the claimants, who hoped to prevail against the new Pope Eugenio IV, suonava la chitarra mediterraneo e ci piaceva assai perché io tenevo pure un frate e facevo Bob Dylan che lente scuro. Professor, please concentrate on the theme.
Nicholas stressed e ha buscato pure l'influenza of the cathedral chapter and its given right to participate in the succession policy, which even placed the Pope under obligation to seek a consent. His efforts were to no avail with regard to which ambition, however, Nicholas pleading earned him a great reputation as an intermediary and diplomat. While present at the council, he wrote his first work, O Concordio Cattolico, si era affunato tutto cosa, il comandante della Catholic Concordance, a synthesis of ideas on church and empire, balancing hierarchy with the consent. This work remained useful to critics of the papacy long after Nicholas left Basel.
Well, Professor, we take a short break, then we will go on. Thank you very much.